So, have you guys fixed your fucking shit yet?
We've been waiting on you guys talking about anime for the last 10 minutes.
We've been
Just
waiting
sitting here.
on you, so we needed something.
It's not our fault. We have our priorities together, okay? Wait, maybe it is.
We have our priorities. She has friends. She was talking to friend. I didn't set up shit while she was talking to friend.
Friends are not a priority.
What is this? Is this not a friend group? Talking shit on a podcast?
This is not a friend group. This is, I like to think of it as, well, hey, stop it. Let me finish the fucking joke. Now that you've ruined the fucking punchline.
You made Daddy leave. Again.
Daddy's gotta go get some cigarettes. I'll be right back.
Yeah, right.
I was gonna... Alright, yeah.
It's for you, I'm sorry.
It's
okay.
Because this little red dot right
The
here.
dice is fun.
What's that shit?
I can't break a lot with the dice. So it's fun.
Never mind. Ignore the red dot.
I mean, if you throw it hard enough, you can break its screen.
I'm in your house. Do you really want to say that?
Good.
That's how I got
Anyways.
stabbed.
You got
What
stabbed?
I need
happened?
context for that story, man.
She hasn't told you the story of her getting stabbed.
No.
We could do this later, guys. Let's start the podcast.
I don't feel bad. I was stabbed by a butter
Ow,
knife,
it
so.
creates the diversion and everything.
I've been sliced by a butter knife, not stabbed, but I got stabbed in the leg.
Mm.
God, I don't want to hear Anthony's butter knife story. That made me cringe the first time.
It was good shit, though.
Said what? 1? 2? Or did
What?
you cut it out? The butter knife story for Anthony. Episode 1? Episode 2?
I think I left it in, but I'm not sure. It might have gotten cut.
It's pre-Megan, pre-Sid. So,
I read a fascinating post about a gentleman who was able to suck himself off, and he was rather disappointed because
he didn't have any skill?
it wasn't as pleasurable as he thought it would be, mainly because the entire time he had a dick in his mouth. And I'm like, sitting there thinking to myself, did you not know you were going to have a dick in your mouth that you were capable of sucking yourself off? I mean, it's implied in the act itself. If you're capable of it, there's going to be a dick in your mouth. Don't put so much time in thinking about the dick in your mouth so much as, I don't know, I would, because that shit turns me on. So I would think about the dick in my mouth, plus the fact that I'm getting a blowjob. I mean, that'd be like win-win. I would think.
I think you'd have to lean that way to enjoy it all the way.
Not to be the asshole in the room, but you've put a lot of thought into that.
Like, we had this whole segment last time.
Dude, I've thought about this for like 20 years, alright? I would suck my own dick, I would shoot my load into my mouth, I would swallow it, I would lick my lips, I would pat myself on the ass. Give myself a nice little just...
It
And
would
then
be
I'd go
harder. I had you kind of as a smacker, not like a tapper.
Well, I said I'd slap
Am I wrong?
myself. I corrected Pat, and I said slap.
By the way,
You know,
Sid, a
the
lot of
whole-
shit went down after you left that day.
that whole attaboy tap in the bathroom and then take a piss.
The question I want to know is, are you a left or a right cheek slapper? Or are you around the world? Like, do you give yourself a trick shot?
Oh, fuck yeah. If I could, definitely.
You didn't answer.
He wants to be a trick shot.
You want to be a trick shot.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to do like a backflip and then just booty slap myself at the same time. Like mid
Just
backflip.
take your dick out of your mouth before you try to do a backflip. That's how
No.
accidents happen.
Well, that is true, but at the same time, if I could pull that off, how great of a porn would that be? I mean, even if it was only a minute and a half, like if it was a TikTok. Like,
Would it be worth it, though, if you accidentally bite your own dick off performing the trick?
Imagine having to tell the ER nurse that. I'm sorry,
sent me
ma'am.
to the
wow,
ER.
I would love it.
I know.
I would love being
Things
able to...
happen.
So, okay,
He
two
would tell
things.
that story every day for the rest of his life.
I'm a
things.
fucking eunuch, but it was
God,
worth
I'm
it, guys.
Two things. I
Yeah.
would tell that story every day for the rest of my life. And the second thing, I'm not so against losing my dick, as long as that also meant that I lost my sex drive, because ever since I learned how to masturbate, I have been, like, in a constant state of horniness, and you know what? I would like to just have a thought in my head that didn't somehow tie back to sex. It would, I
Would
think...
you be you?
Probably not, but I mean, it would be an interesting, like, it's just an interesting experiment to finally, like, one day, you know, someone would be all, like, 69 and not me go, alright. I could just be like, yeah, it's a number.
Please, that's a children's joke.
You would have that post-nut clarity
I've got
all
the
the time.
mentality of a child.
Yeah, I'll just see myself out too.
But you don't laugh when people go 69.
Oh no, I totally do. You were just making fun of children. I was leaving.
Oh, well, you are the child of the group. It's fine. It's fine.
I always am.
Did we want to, like, start this episode, or are we just going to talk about Michael sucking himself off all day, every day?
Because
Wait a
if
second,
we are, we definitely need like a diagram.
Oh, dude, I can actually, I can flip the head of my dick. All right, so, yeah, I've tried it. All right. And
Without
any guy-
pictures, it didn't happen.
I just heard I can bite the head of my dick.
I probably could nibble it. Maybe. I mean, that's entirely possible.
Okay, turn your back to the camera and demonstrate.
He's fully clothed.
Community guidelines, you'll be fully clothed. Terms of service can
Swear to God,
your-
Anthony, if you do not zoom so good on him right now.
It doesn't actually demonstrate anything, though. 'Cause, I mean, all it shows is that I can... Oh, shit. Stepped on my...
It shows that you're real flexible and your head's in your lap. We got you.
Oh, I can't suck my entire dick. I can lick the fucking tip of it.
It's okay. We still would like visual.
So I was talking about like the little anime girl doing the licking maneuver.
Oh my god. Alright, get your money ready. Come on, boo.
Dude,
Here
my
you go,
back
get
hurts just looking at that.
You're not in the camera.
Oh,
Stand
come
on your chair.
boo. On the chair, boy.
Please don't hurt yourself.
Or do, just make sure you don't hurt yourself.
Oh,
At
my
the
back!
end of- at
So,
the
so
end,
did
can
you
hurt
remove a
yourself.
few ribs already, or?
I think he did. He's just lying. Come on. No. Head up for the camera, sir. Come on.
He can't have it up if he's going down on himself.
He's got his clothes on. It'll be fine.
His head can't be up if he's trying to get it down there. He's not that flexible. Just take all my money.
I'll do the pretzel formation. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay, come on.
Oh, shit.
You win, Michael. You got $1,100.
Hey, look, I know what I can do, alright? I've spent
And now so does the internet.
Yeah.
enough time in this body, and I have never been shy about anything. I also know how much I can stick up my ass.
A whole hand?
Shampoo bottle?
2 hands?
One of those big Tessemae ones.
The same room.
A taser? I've never tried a taser up the ass. That might be electrifying.
You might be into it.
I find it quite shocking.
Oh,
That was a low hanging fruit, but I appreciate it.
yeah.
Low hanging fruit. I loved it.
Hey, I got dad jokes for days, okay?
I can't believe
Anyway.
your joke landed and mine just like everyone was all like, no. Well, Sid caught it.
Because you guys are from the same backward state.
Midwest
Yeah, that's
folks.
true. Yeah, it does.
But
So,
at least there's
should
a lot
we
of people
do-
to laugh at.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah, there is.
I don't want to
So
get out
should
of
we
the
do
West.
the
Some
Should
type of
we-
intro? Maybe?
Should you guys just constantly interrupting me be the intro?
It usually is, but feel free. Because Anthony just threw the intro in later, so...
Because I'm not sure I want to do the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. You're just going to keep fucking constantly.
Did you want me to interrupt you during that? Because I can. You just got to give me a signal.
Did you not like that, Anthony?
What? Of all No, not of all ages. Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's...
It's got to be 18 and older for the shit we put out. Well, for the gold we put out, it's not shit.
About an Instagram or an OnlyFans quite often. Whatever age that is. Anyway.
I mean, somehow the last episode resulted in friggin' HB stripping and both of us just frickin' throwing our feet over our heads and... I'm just saying.
Okay. Can you give Michael little ears when he's doing his little bend over thing like he's a cat licking himself?
I think he's editing this one.
But I can try.
Anyway.
I can do shorts.
Welcome to Chit and Chat with this and that. Where we talk about nonsense for a half an hour.
Speaking of intros...
It's actually got a runtime of 5 hours, but we edit that shit down to succinct 60-minute segments for you, our loyal fans, who we love and want to give us money.
Monday.
Why the fuck am I always tinkering with something?
No comment.
I didn't hear what he said.
On today's episode, we've pulled yet another random mystery topic. I'm going to kick it over to Guy here so that she can explain to you what the random mystery topic is.
Sorry, had to find
None of us know what it is yet.
I wonder what it could be.
We're waiting with bated breath.
Population control, which is probably spelled right even.
I don't know. I wasn't.
I didn't look at it.
That's quite alright. That's fine. Just
she feeds us this topic a week in advance. All right, folks.
Sometimes a little less because I had Megan choose it on Sunday.
Yeah, it's substantially less than a week.
The last one was a surprise, if you remember.
Yes. Our Halloween episode was a surprise because no one wanted to help me choose a topic. For that week. Can you feel me staring at you with hate right now?
If I was there, I would reach into that bucket and pull out a topic for you, okay? I apologize. I'm just a few states over.
I usually make Megan do
She makes me do everything.
What do you want us to do?
I don't know. Help me choose a Halloween topic next year. Cool.
No.
Nah.
I know. You tell me no all the time. Alright, so we're doing population control benefits, other things. My brain just went bleh. Anyone want to speak besides Stevie? No?
I thought you were doing like the introduction thing.
And how are we getting away with it? That's the only thing I care about.
That's a form of population control.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second.
Are we pro-purge then? Pro-purge?
So
You have an arsenal.
Since when?
Your dad has an arsenal that you have access to.
So I've actually looked into several different sides of this, and I mean, obviously I'm me, so I have dark jokes, but don't want to get us banned that quickly.
Fine. I've heard.
If I haven't done it, you're good.
Oh no, trust me. Trust me.
And honestly, if you think it's too bad, you could just put a warning across it. Make a little noise.
Bleep out words, specific words.
I don't ever want to hear some of the shit that goes through my mind come out my mouth.
Self-censor. It's fun.
I do self-censor, like, every day, constantly. Pretty much every moment of every day. So, Stevie, you were going on about population control. Like, I kind of found a very simple definition of what population control is and what it kind of refers to. and it simply refers to the act of limiting the size of an animal population so that it remains manageable, as opposed to the act of protecting species from excessive rates of extinction, which is referred to as conservation biology.
Okay.
So, in doing a little research, I didn't really realize exactly what fell into what population control is. So there's both a reducing aspect and an increasing aspect. Some examples of like reducing population growth can be things as benign as contraception, abstinence, adoption, sterilization, and then you can get into like some more harder things like higher taxation rates on people who have, you know, X amount of kids, war, genocide, allowing famine, which is basically a form of genocide when you really start thinking about it. And then there are things that increase population growth, like higher taxation on people that don't have children, earned income benefits, such as the EIC credit and child credit, loosening of immigration can be seen as a form of population growth, and mass recruitment of like foreign workers, so foreign visa programs and things of the like. And with that, I will see if you guys have any comments. I yield.
Well, it depends on what population you're talking about. If you're talking about is humans as a whole, or are you talking about United States population? Are you talking about state by state?
I think we're talking about humans as a whole, but I mean, population control really applies to any animal. So, I mean, this could go, you know, we could make this like, you know, the ethno-state argument, or we could just make it like, you know, argument about limiting, like, say, here in Colorado, we just reintroduced wolves, and at the time I voted for it, but now I think it's a bad idea because I'm starting to see information about how it affects other local populations, and yeah, it is a means of population control to reintroduce certain species, whether they be extinct or just, you know, near what we would call like a, what are they, crisis species?
Endangered.
Well, no. I know they're endangered, but like there's ranks within endangered species. So there's ones that are like near extinction. I think there's like also crises species, which like they're in that gray area where they could be close to like being considered extremely rare or on the verge of extinction, but they're not yet.
Yeah.
So anyway, reintroducing the wolves was kind of a form of population control on the elk and deer. The thought was that, you know, they were native here, we could bring them back, and that would help kind of mitigate some of the more harmful effects of our elk populations getting out of control. Hunting is another basic form of population control. Now, I mean, these don't apply to humans in controlling the human population, so we can also talk about that. I mean, that's where you get the things like abortion, contraception, abstinence, even, unfortunately, genocide.
Well, to build off of your example of the wolves, something that a lot of people don't know about is most of your hunting tags are built off of the population. So, for example, when you set in for draw, there's only so many tags you can get of a female elk versus a bull elk. The reasons for that is obviously females can carry babies, males cannot. One thing I don't think a lot of mass voters really thought about is the fact that we have those population controls for deer, elk, bear, so on and so forth. We don't have those for the wolves. What are going to be their predator? What's going to keep them in check?
Us.
Even mountain lions, too, for the record, for tags. So you're putting in already controlled populace, a predator they haven't had for how many years? It's setting it up to see a population lull in those populations. Or at least it sets up the potential for it.
I don't want to release anything that you don't want released, but you have a background with animals, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my dad's an avid hunter. I grew up hunting in order subsistence hunting. We were super duper poor, so we couldn't afford any grocery store meat or anything like that. So we'd hunt and kill elk and deer and bear, whatever we get our hands onto, and use everything you can on that animal.
Okay, so I mean, you at least have a bit of a background, because I don't know that any of the rest of us do. I don't hunt. I mean, love guns, but I'm lazy. I'd rather go to the store.
Yeah, no, I grew up butchering everything. We used the hides for art, gave them to people who needed rugs, needed blankets, people who could make pillows out of them, drums, anything, you name it, we provided if we couldn't do it. So I do have a pretty decent background in it.
So
I should know a teeny bit about what I'm actually talking about. I'm not just talking out my ass most of the time.
So, if hypothetically we visited your house, we wouldn't find a human lamp, would we?
For the record, we're on the internet right now, so I can neither confirm nor deny.
No?
Thank you, because we all needed plausible deniability for that question anyway, so.
You're welcome, guys. Remember, plead the fifth.
It's your friend.
Mm-hmm.
From the very beginning, don't even state your fucking name.
Nope, and in order to invoke your right to attorney, you have to actually sow those words. You cannot just remain silent. It won't work. There's a bunch of constitutional arguments that is not enough of an invocation of the right.
No. I meant invoke the right, but I mean invoke it as soon as they ask you your name. Which, I am also not a lawyer.
Well, you can tell them your name. You're not going to get in trouble for that, because you can tell them your name. They need to know that in order to book you. There's nothing they can do with your name. Once you go past that, you're fucked. So you're 100%.
You still have the right to refuse. I mean, I'm not.
Well, you have to be careful with that, because if it looks like you're not being compliant with police, you can get a resisting arrest charge.
Oh no, you're absolutely going to get your ass in trouble no matter what, whether it's just, you have a bad day or you get a resisting arrest. Like, I mean, I'm not advocating for people to not cooperate with police officers under most general circumstances.
So are we going to go back to population control?
Yeah,
or
we can totally.
We can do both. I mean, wolves of animal society, police are wolves of human society.
Well, you could argue that police.
Sorry, you just gave me another topic to pop.
You could argue that police serve a role in population control.
You want to write police overreach so I remember it, please. Put a pin right there.
I would argue it's more social order, and the majority overexerting.
Top line. Sorry, she just gave me another topic that goes in the bucket.
Well, I didn't say that, it has some main emphasis on it, only that, you could probably tie it in there. There's an argument to be made. And I mean, you don't have to look at population control as simply, limiting a population's growth or decrease. It can also, I think it also very much goes into I mean, that's where, there's also several countries which kind of do basically population planning. China, Japan, South Korea, Russia, Iran, Italy, Spain, Finland, Hungary, Estonia. There's another list. Kenya, Pakistan. Taiwan, Turkey, Egypt, Chile, they all have like forms of like using the state, which, I mean, I think we can all agree that a state exists to be a force of violence. And by that simply I mean is that a state is an evocation of the people's will to be governed, and by that will it necessitates violence. And violence isn't like, an actual physical act of striking someone. It is the very conceptual act of being able to say, you either do this or there is this consequence. There's really no good way of getting out of this consequence once the state wants to enforce it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. To be honest, when she read population control, that's how I interpreted it. It's control of the population by any means necessary. It could be social means, could be monetary means, could be commodity-based means, food, water, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think
be control of the reproductivity of the population as well, but it can be all-encompassing as far as I'm concerned.
And I totally agree. I think what a lot of people think of when they hear population control is, though, like the more violent aspects, not so much the social aspects, or even building a cohesive society. They oftentimes jump to, oh, well, you want to ban abortion. That's, or actually, one of the best, I think the best example, like what most people jump to, is China's one-child policy. Like, I think when you say population control, they're just all like, oh, you want to get rid of my ability to have babies? Why? Just because I have 19 doesn't mean a goddamn thing. I'm gonna have a 20th.
Which, to be honest, if you look at media as a profitable system, they want people to respond that way. They don't want people to think about it further. They want people to be scared, look for headlines, listen on how to be led and how to think and believe. Why else would they start with something that's much more realistic, feasible, and actually beneficial for the population? They wouldn't do that.
Yeah, which brings you out the morality of it, like, who benefits?
Very much so, absolutely.
Yeah, does society actually benefit, or is it more that the people who are lining their pockets benefit? And I mean, those are the two biggest things that will ever fucking sell within our history is sex and violence. Sex and fear. Violence is fear.
Punk rock.
Well, but you do bring an interesting point, Sid and Michael. I mean, if you take Sid's logic and apply it to China's one-child rule, I bet you $20 there was some benefactor or someone in the background there behind that bill in order to get it passed who profited from it, for sure. I mean, if you look at Texas's abortion ban, I'm sure the Congress people who wrote it or the major companies that might have contributed to the articulation of the bill itself or the needs or any of the public that made a strong public statement against it had some sort of ulterior motive, 100%.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the, I don't even want to talk about the Texas law.
You brought up abortion, bro.
No, I agree, but like to me that's cringe. Like, if you're gonna say that a person starts at conception, then a rather irrelevant point, but shouldn't we all be about 10 months older than what we are? Like, shouldn't I be 39 right now? It's an irrelevant point, but just always something that I muse over when people tell me that life starts at conception. But secondly, then, like, is a sperm not alive? Is an egg not alive? Is my DNA not alive? At what point do those things, like, meet the threshold of life? Is it, like, 200 years from now, we've been able to, like, accurately splice DNA to some unfathomable point, like 99% accuracy. and we can just throw my DNA in a spinner and then throw it in a vat and create life, does that mean that every ounce of blood I have is then sacred? I mean, where do you stop? Like, the arguments are going to keep going as technology advances, and we are more and more capable of performing these feats that we could have never imagined as 2,000-year-old cave-dwelling fucking Neanderthals. Like, actually, that's totally. Oh, my sister would be so pissed off if she heard me refer to 2,000-year-old people as Neanderthals. But like, where does the line's always going to be blurred, and it's always going to keep getting shoved and shoved and shoved, and so
100%. It's a slippery slope argument by far. I mean, because even along your lines of your logic, when do we define life? What do we define life as? Right? If someone in a vegetative state, when do we say they're no longer living? If a machine's keeping them alive, are they alive? Is it consciousness? How do we define consciousness? What makes it? What's mean to say that a cat doesn't have consciousness, but a human doesn't? It's such a slippery slope. You're 100% right.
And where are the ethics in saying that God can't decide that cancer is the reason you should die? Like, if we're going to go religious with it, too, people are constantly fighting natural order, the actual way we live. We've just shoved it down our throats to be, we control how it is. All these vaccines and shit, like, plague is population control from nature.
I don't think I would phrase it as population control from nature. Like, plagues are just plagues. They don't have, to the best that I've been able to research it, a virus doesn't want to propagate, it just does. Because that's what a virus does. That's what a biological organism does. It propagates. Those that are good at propagating continue to propagate. Those that aren't good at propagating, they die out. So to say that yes, the virus is part of the natural order, but I wouldn't say that it really intends to have an order. I think that's the thing that people misunderstand about natural orders, is that because we order things, we see a natural order. Nature's just doing what nature do. It'd be
chaos, which is everything, and also brings about the thing. I don't know. It's more like if you get hurt, if you're strong, you can get better. Like your different bodies, natural order comes about to get rid of weak items in the species. So illness is being. That's all I'm saying.
Darwin's survival of the fittest.
Basically.
Well, but I think survival of the fittest is an incredibly misunderstood statement. The fittest doesn't mean the best.
No, not at all.
Society's also made it very hard to be the same kind of best.
Well, defining best is really, really hard.
So we're blurring the lines between societal constructs, where are only human creations, right? Like hierarchies in terms of wealth and popularity and everything. That's all societal. So I would argue nature has nothing to do with anything societal construct related. So the fact that I'm not better than you, so on and so forth. Biology is one thing. Societal bullshit is a different thing. Not to be a dick, but I think those are two separate.
Not when you look at mating patterns.
How do you mean?
Society kind of dictates our mating patterns with what we find attractive and what is the best per society. Science goes down to everything.
Yes, but no, at the same time, biologically speaking, female humans have certain things we're predisposed to find more attractive in male mates because they seem to be a better reproductive mate. It's not something that society says, for example. And I could figure out an example of those. Just give me a second. I can think of one.
I can argue against it if you want.
So wait. I think. Hold on. I think I would like to pose an example. and then watch you two bitches duke it out.
We're bitches.
I can fuck anything.
So see,
I mean that in the most loving way possible.
he's the biggest bitch of us all.
Yeah,
Sure.
I am.
100%.
I'm just here for the snark, dude.
100%.
So
Not there.
I think
Cop, you
I-
asshole.
I think Megan's argument can basically boil down to instinctively it would be more beneficial biologically to continue the species to have sex with, say, some regular 5 like me than to go out and just be banging people with MS all day long.
With what all day long?
MS.
MS. Multiple sclerosis.
Okay, that's an interesting proposition. Okay, and can I just ask one question? Why did you choose MS, bro? What did they do to you? You could have chose any other disease. You were like, no, fuck you, MS.
Because it's never lupus, so.
What disease he said? You were gonna pull that out your ass, though. You were gonna make fun of him for whichever one he picked, so it didn't matter.
That's fair.
You're not even wrong.
Fair.
I'll just hide under this desk now, thank you. Been
Good for
thoroughly
you.
called the fuck out. I'm just gonna hide it. And so what... I feel like there's two issues in that, though, Michael, because you have the traditional sense that humans are monogamous only versus the traditional idea that
Who?
a human choose a partner who's genetically stronger than the other. That lines up with my argument. The monogamous versus non-monogamy does not line up with this at all.
I think that's
what
false
science
dichotomy.
says monogamy?
I didn't say that. I said it's a traditional idea.
Tradition.
According to
sense.
who?
Tradition.
Society, which yet again is why I took it away from biology, which is
Oh, in
nature,
America.
versus societal construct, which is bullshit that people in different cultures think of and purport as the be-all, end-all of truth.
Basically, after Christ.
What?
Like, after death, AD. When religion came into play. You're good, you're good, you're good. I got you. I was asking according to who,
before
and I answered myself.
God was just like, why is monogamy a thing? It's religion based usually.
Yeah,
That's where she got to. I translate Sid Megan. It's a skill. I don't translate Michael Megan. That's way above my pay grade. I listen, I enjoy, but I don't translate.
So I guess building off Michael's idea, Sid, do you have any argument that a human in a non-visual, societal, interrupted space where there's no outside bias coming at the person, they would probably choose a non-diseased partner versus a diseased partner?
Well, but the thing is you can't tell someone's diseased other than by visuals and like your sensory. So what we're attracted to, we are biologically meant to go for smells and someone that looks like us. That is what our science says. But because society is so, from such young ages, especially now, kids are trained to look for specific things in people, and that is how society changes how we are attracted to people. Also, it puts weaker people with more weaker people, and usually their kids inherit those weak traits, and therefore, but in our society, that's not weeded out. Those kids are usually coddled, and then they grow in different ways. So
wait, are you making the pro-genocide argument?
100% always. I am for, I want a 50% decrease in population.
Whoa. Let me ask you one question.
Please.
Is it because you don't like people, or is it because you don't like a specific sort of person?
It's because I want the planet to get a chance to breathe again.
Okay, why do you feel that the planet doesn't have a chance to breathe? Because I actually did look up these statistics on world hunger and how much population right now they're estimating we can have. We're still about 4 billion people under what their worst case scenario is for causing global famines, for shortages in resources, etc., etc.
But, Michael, as someone who grew up in the Midwest with me, how much hunger did you see in a farming state where we had a surplus of food, but most people still went without because they just didn't have the education or the proper ways to take care of themselves?
That's a distribution problem. That's not a resource problem.
So I do not trust our government to take care of population. I don't trust any of that shit. But what I'm saying is,
I'm not pro government planning. Like, I think the shit that Mao did was fucking terrible. Like, I will fucking shit on China all day long until fucking the day I die. Unless, of course, they become more democratic, which they have, inched towards. Very, very small inches over.
A government's going to prioritize what they're going to benefit from. If we're going to have a solid genocide, it has to be neutral. It can't be like biased in any way. And our states and governments can't do shit like that. So what I'm saying is, like, I like the nature and the plague version of how that takes care of things. I hate the fact that our government step in and try to stop the natural order of like how population control can be, or I don't know, even just how they control the animals, like you guys were saying earlier, on how those guys can't fuck with people anymore because we used to not be the number one. We used to have predators, and it's not balanced anymore. People have too much.
Well, why do you feel that way? Because I don't think you're basing this off research. I think this is very much just a feeling that you have.
Yes, 100%. I haven't researched anything. I just am totally for it. It's something I've thought about a lot, especially, like, again, growing up in the Midwest, seeing how much space we use for corn. We don't use that for food. 90% of that goes towards ethanol or just, like, reproducing for animals, crops that they don't take care of.
Oh, okay, but, like, let's just call your numbers arbitrary. You're saying that we don't use 90% of it for actual substance. Is that 10% enough to get us by?
I say it's just a waste of land, personally. Like, we've just stripped so much stuff.
That's not the question, though. That's not the question, though. Is that 10% enough to get us by? We can talk about land management later, but of those 10% of
we could probably use 5% and get by and be just fine. That's what I'm saying. It's excess. Charlie, your water's boiling.
Well, yeah, it is excess, and we can talk about that. Like, I have no problem with the idea that we waste a lot of land. Like, one of the things that I hate about fucking organic nutters is that they don't understand it takes 33% more land to gain the exact same yield as GMO crops.
Gross. Yeah, I'm not for it. I don't like all the fucking farming. It drives me nuts.
Well, and once again, like, I'm not against you. I think this is a very nuanced topic, though, when you actually start digging into it, is that we do waste a lot of land, we do waste a lot of crops. But, like, in the example that you gave with, like, ethanol, we still infer an advantage from that, do we not?
Well, you can consider most anything an advantage, though. I'm curious as to where this is going.
So, I've not done enough research into ethanol technologies in order to have a very sound opinion, but I would raise the spectra of an idea that it's definitely got fuel advantages. I know it can be used in some what are they called, like polythenes?
Polyethylene?
Yeah.
No, is it polyethylene?
I'm making shit up, Michael. I'm just fucking with you.
Thank you. There's specific forms of plastic.
Just you're gonna have to interrupt.
I'm sorry. So you're saying corn production, ethanol leads to fuel and advantages, right? Advantages for what?
And who?
I hate to be a dick. Monetary, yes. Fuel and heat, yes. Heat, humans need heat in order to supplement in cold times of the winter, and so, yes. But advantages as compared to what? Having fresh land that is not being droughted to the point where we're wasting water, or where we're mass producing CO2, so on and so forth. It's going up in the atmosphere and fucking us up on top of the earth, on top of every other population on the earth. I'm trying to figure out how you're ranking advantage level on this, because it does
a whole lot of jobs. So many jobs gone.
So you can signal boost off this from land management to resource management to just what in general is going to be more advantageous for us as a society. What is then advantageous for us is probably advantageous for the things that are around us.
I would argue
no. Hold on. I'm not done. Obviously, it wasn't advantageous for white rhinos. But that's why you have these conversations about the social impact, is so that you can then actually start building on economic impacts, and also just what in general is going to drive us forward. And that's a tough conversation. But
I know where we're getting off track. I am against society. I think our society should be gone, along with the population.
I'm
gonna sidestep that for just like 5 seconds. So, Michael, you're talking a lot of advantages for human population, money, jobs, so on and so forth. How does it help any other population in the history of the earth? You could lump in bacterial populations into that, microbial, vegetation, mammals, so on and so forth. I would argue most of the things that help human population have done nothing but hurt those other populations. And I kind of agree society shit. So.
I would
I feel like we're getting channel locked into human population only, and I just don't know if that's where we want to go, or if we were just getting there.
Well, so I'm a human. It sounds shitty, but it's what I care about.
Fair, no, absolutely.
I do not. People are the last thing I care about.
Get out
Let's
of here,
get the plants back. Plants need the planet.
Yeah, I think that's... we need the planet for as long as we're on the planet.
I'm good. I'll check out as soon as we're ready. Bye, guys. I will be fertilizer. I'm here for it.
We are not the only... I'm gonna use it, it's a bit of hyperbole, but we're not the only fucking parasitic life form on this fucking planet, alright? Viruses are parasitic.
No, but we are the best.
Like, I don't even know that we're the best. I think viruses...
Most accurate, most efficient.
No, I don't think any of that's true. I don't think you can give me an argument to show how that's true.
Can you give me a counter argument to show how we're wrong?
What's better than us? What's destroying the planet? What is killing more things than us?
The planet.
Want some time to think about it?
No, I don't need any time to think about it. The planet is very good at killing us. Nature is very good at killing us.
Natural disasters.
But see, that's only focusing on human population again.
Yeah.
I think we're sitting there talking
do you not think that natural disasters kill other species?
Kills a lot.
Yeah, they do.
So Mother Nature gets pissed.
Okay, so yeah, we care about ourselves because we're here, and most of us, while we're not okay with being here, we want to be here, but I like it. I do not understand. I understand your argument from like a feelings perspective, but factually, I just don't think it holds up.
How do you mean? I very much would love to understand your side better, but I'm just not there yet.
So if humans died today, like every one of us just fucking got raptured away or whatever fucking weird voodoo bullshit fucking people believe in, like, do you think white rhinos would still be around?
Are we arguing about bringing species back in the eradication of human, or are we just arguing about numbers told?
I want to know exactly what you think the damage that we've done wouldn't actually still have been done.
Okay.
99% of species are extinct throughout the course of the evolution of the Earth. Do you think, had we never evolved to have, what are they called? Digits. Opposable digits? Like, that shit wouldn't have fucking still happened?
That's not my argument. What I'm saying, and it's going back to what Sid said, it's efficiency. So we humans have been on the Earth how much of the actual timeline of the entire Earth? It's like a blip. Yet we've managed to destroy almost every other population or done a sizable amount of damage to it.
So wait.
To the Earth in billions of years. We've been around thousands. That's probably wrong. Google it, but the small amount we've been.
Earth's been around millions of years. The universe has been around billions of years. Humans have been around.
I'm not a mathematician.
But so I think what you should first need to do is look at that 99% of extinct species and figure out how many of them came after the advent of man. So
I'm not talking just extinction. I'm talking damage to their populations, which I highly doubt you have a clean metric for every single population that's non-human.
I doubt that as well. I think that this would be a very hard problem to delve into, but I think this is where you first have to start delving into it is, how much damage have we actually done? Is it because you resent, or you have resentment for us, that you then extrapolate that we've done all this damage? Or is it mainly just or is it your fucking feelings? I mean, what if it so happens to turn out, arbitrary numbers, that 98% of all species that ever existed died before humanity ever even stepped foot on this planet, or walked out of the ocean, or popped up from a rock, or Sky Daddy fucking breathed air into a fucking man rib, and I mean, like, actually need to take that into account for your argument to have any substance.
I will 100%. I understand your logic in that argument. What I will say is then you need to be able to quantify the amount of time that happened for that sheer amount of extinction or damage to every other population. If you put it on a graph, exponentially look at the growth.
No, I will totally.
Behavior currently is going to have a far greater growth curve to it. That is my argument. That being said, if I'm wrong, I will happily say I'm wrong and own it. I don't think I am, though. And to go back to the argument of trying to say that I'm fueled by my emotional connotations with the human species, honestly, I expect better of us. We have the biggest prefrontal cortex of any species. We should be able to think of ways to coexist peacefully when we can. I'm not saying we always can. In a way that
instead
is
of ruining habitat,
far more. I don't know what she said.
Instead of ruining habitats.
Exactly. I'm saying we chose the destructive routes We chose the most efficient routes because they're the best for us, not because they're the best for everyone else. We could have done something a little harder. Would it have been a little bit more taxing on the growth of our species and our population? Absolutely. But with our sheer brain power capabilities, we should be able to, from a scientific standpoint, behave better than this. That's my argument.
Okay, but I think you're what was it, Locke that talked about the is versus ought? And I think you're...
So what versus, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Is versus ought. The is versus ought argument. Because
Never
this...
heard of it.
So it basically states that because something is, this ought to be, and it's a logical fallacy.
So where are you going with that?
Just because we should be smart doesn't mean we can be.
I fully understand that. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
or
figure out
just-
why
just
he's
because-
applying that logic here.
So just because this thing is, and that's how we,
Because you said we have big brains and should use them better.
yeah, just because we do have big brains, we should be able to use them better. We have more processing power, more complex neuron setups. That doesn't mean that we can necessarily answer like all the fucking questions in the world.
So,
Like-
but that also comes
I
back to
didn't
population
say
control.
that.
There was a whole big, like, population boom because we needed more people for all the wars and shit, but then we had too many people afterwards. It's like
All right.
What? Now I'm confused. I'm too high for this.
I think it's going well.
No, I want to know where either of you, because I feel like I sat in the center between you two, and then you both like jumped up and were all like, "No,"
They both just jumped up and teamed up, and
which I'm fine with. I don't care. We can make this 4v1. I do not give a fuck. Yeah.
One's fun. It's always great to be the devil's advocate.
But
I can everything.
I can see how you guys want to advocate against humanity. Is that fair to say?
No, I mean, I'm not going to speak for Cid here. I'm going to say that I'm advocating for the betterment of humanity, and if you don't want to be the best parasite in the world, you should intentionally not do the things you're doing. I think we intentionally knew it was going to be detrimental, and in my opinion, from a morally capable being, that makes you the best parasite in the earth. Because you're complicit, and half the time you enjoy
all right,
it.
wait,
I think you're real fucked up.
whoa. I have
We're not going to convince him that we're not the best thing that happened to the world, though. Like, he thinks our society is what's supposed to be growing. We're not going to change his mind on that.
Yeah, okay, for starters,
What's the time?
who is this we shit?
Megan and I, we are a team. It's fine.
Okay, but I mean, in her statement, like, you know, we have grown to...
People.
Like, who is this we? Is that humanity? Because I don't think we're, like, any version of our best self. I don't think we're
Did I
even,
ever
like...
say we were? I
No,
guess
that
we
was
were the
Cid.
worst.
Sid was like, he thinks, and
Sorry.
that was not it.
No.
I got
That was
you.
way earlier. Ah.
This has been a long conversation.
No, it's not. Anthony, what are we, like an hour and a half?
hour and 14 minutes.
Damn, I'm good. Always shoot past the goal.
Anthony, look at your
They
phone.
really appreciate it.
He didn't hear me.
You tried.
I like how Anthony just has not talked for an hour
I
and a
know.
half.
Look at your phone.
Her too.
Anthony, look at your phone.
Oh shit!
It's okay. I got this.
Anyways, you guys were talking about like what people have done to the earth, what they have done to the animals. What about what we're capable of doing, which is destroying the entire world at a whim's notice? I mean, two people can have a silly argument, and all of a sudden half the planet's burning.
Thank you, Anthony. I've left that out. Thank you.
So that's correct, but like, and I mean, I am not an optimist by any means, shape, or form, but like, let's turn that around on its head and let's look at what two people can do to actually better society. I mean, look at the scientific progress we've made.
Argue for the planet, or you're gonna miss us. Quit arguing for society.
Yeah, because yet again, if we're going back to population as a natural thing that happens, societal views, bullshit is
don't play a part in it.
Mm-hmm.
So do you not realize that we're not the only species that has built a society? Is that where the hang-up is?
No, that's not where it's saying at all.
That's
what I'm saying.
We want you to include the other
society. Social constructs based off of whatever population it is. I heartily agree. Meerkats, for example, they have a whole hierarchy. They have a whole setup for protecting their hive, protecting all of that. And I'm sure the way that they find mates is different. We don't understand whatever verbal communicative strategies they use. What I'm saying is anything that's created in a society based off of any population is a societal construct, not a natural creation. It is a construct based off of the behavior of that population, not a natural occurrence.
Can I give you a mea culpa? Can I extend an olive branch?
Sure.
Okay. Everything is a fucking societal construct. The only way to interpret society and existence in and of itself for our cognitive abilities is to create constructs. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I think that's.
I'm just confused on how it applies.
What did she say?
She said she's confused on how it applies, and that's actually a very valid question.
So a lot of people are confused on how any number of constructs apply. Like, I talk to people all the time that don't realize that. Well, all right, like, go into the trans debate. Like,
I meant to our conversation.
Thank you.
Say what? I'm sorry, what?
How it applies to our conversation?
Population control.
Well, no, not population control. Trans, I'm with you.
We are all allies here, I think.
Social constructs. And so, like, you know, I have a dick. I therefore have to be a guy. Why?
How does this apply to our conversation?
I'm so confused.
I imagine he'll get there tomorrow.
Yeah. Like, is there a Cliff Notes version?
I gotta hop on my bus real quick. I'll be right back. Daddy's gotta go get some cigarettes.
Stop it.
It's time to
I
go
already
get
bought you
milk.
some earlier. You're here. It's like, it's a really fascinating conversation that I have nothing to contribute to, but that's fine. But it's
this was my topic.
Winded.
I picked it.
I know.
This is one that
Yes,
I
you did.
wrote. I love this
when
topic.
it's an example of how, like, everything's just a fucking construct. Like, it's like
From your perception of the
your
world.
your hand waving, basically. By using.
Hi. Sorry, I
I'm here to just mimic Megan. This way, I'm doing something. I'm watching me soon.
So by talking about constructs and by talking about how they're specific to societal organizations, you're basically just hand waving away, like the same things that you can find in the animal kingdom, like they do have hierarchical structures, but then you wanted to come back and reference them, and to me it's
maybe you're misunderstanding me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they're just not natural creations. They're not a natural existence. They are made through a perception. Therefore, they're not a natural phenomena. And population control from that point of view, societal constructs have nothing to do with them because it's not natural. It is an altered, created phenomenon.
Okay, so then why is it found in other species? Why are these social constructs? I think social constructs...
For the propagation of the species.
I think social constructs are, kind of natural. They're going to pop up with any sort of societal species. Does that make more sense?
They're inevitable. I 100% that they're inevitable, but they're still created by that populace. If the populace didn't exist, the societal construct wouldn't be there. There's not societal construct.
Whoa, but it could still crop up because another society may come up that way. But you
have to have a society to have the societal construct. It's not a natural thing. It's a man-made or a population.
No. Wait. Are societies natural?
Societies? If you mean populations, yes. Societies, not 100%. They're typically a niche of a population.
So, so bonobos don't do what we do, chimpanzees don't do what we do,
those are
gibbons
species.
don't do what we do.
Those are species.
What was my question? I mentioned species.
If you're lumping species in with society, I don't agree with that classification at all. Because in bonobo monkeys, for example, a species as a whole, I'm sure there are different echelon, different ranks, different, the more higher up ones that have more status, more access for food, more access to mating, so on and so forth. That's a different society within that species.
But not all species need social interaction.
Whoa. Okay, yeah, that's entirely correct. Not all species are social species. We have what are known as social species. But you just set up hierarchies. That was not societies. That's hierarchies.
What I wanted to say was that our society
No,
society, bro.
So our society isn't the most important thing on this planet, is all I was trying to say in the first place, guys. That's all. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, Sid, I agree with you. Our society is not the most important.
Which is why I just want you to stop arguing for the society. Argue for the planet, for the populations.
I agree. Shipping people up to the moon or another planet is a good idea.
I like that idea too.
Same.
If we just kill 99% of living bodies, this planet will probably be fine. It's gonna need some sort of at least a percentage to maintain its ecosystem. But I mean, then again, you've got places like Saturn that rains diamonds, as an almost inhabitable. Do you realize that 99% of the universe is uninhabitable? So the fact that we have this right here that we can inhabit, and then we set up some sort of societal. It's not so bad. That's probably a good fucking idea. Why? Because we can inhabit this place, and therefore life exists. And what is the purpose of life? If you ask me in a philosophical sense, I believe that life is basically just about being able to experience, which means sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's really fucking shit, ask the Native Americans.
Another example of poor society.
I didn't say society was good, but let me ask you this: like, if we didn't embark on this experiment, then what?
What experiment are you referencing?
Existence.
I think that's a irrelevant question, because in order to answer it, you have to embark, so you have no option. If you don't live, you can't answer it. So it's an irrelevant question, sir.
It's like the cat.
Sorry.
No, I think you gave the entirely correct answer. It is an irrelevant question, because if you don't live, or if you don't exist, you don't live, and, like, thus, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with experiencing things, fucking up, making poor choices? Like, if you think about it, like, our little lives of, you know, a day to 100 years are really not that much, but we got to be there. We got to interact.
Have you heard the theory about existence being God experiencing himself or themselves or whatever? Like, every one of us is just
a wonderful way God came on today.
But, like, with population control in that aspect, I feel like it's just spread too thin. There's too many experiences happening, so therefore it's quantity over quality, and I'm not for it.
So, what you were talking about was the idea that God is the totality of existence, and therefore, in order to... God is an ink blot. When you see an ink blot, all you see is an ink blot. It's just a big black dot. And it's not until you start drawing lines within that ink blot that...
You're shaking your head at Megan.
that it means anything. And so... God was...
don't work. They just trigger what you're programmed to see by society, bro. We're back to them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like,
no. I wasn't doing war shark. I was literally saying just drop a blob of ink on the ground. Like, all right.
Blob, not blot.
Blot.
B-L-O-B. Yeah.
Sorry.
Megan, do you know what the color black is?
I'm not answering that question until you tell me how it's a trap.
It's not a trap. Do you know on an artistic color spectrum what black is?
The absence of light?
No,
it's the totality of light.
it absorbs all of it.
Yeah, black is every color you can ever imagine.
No. It's the absence of color. It's the absorption of light. White is every color.
All right. Well. Now you're gonna have to do it again. So, white is the absorption of every color, but it's also the
reflection. No. White is the reflection of every color. Come on, man.
But it's still the absence of all colors, then, because of the reflection.
Not white. White is every color. Black is the lack of color.
No, then you're fuck.
I'm sorry, buddy. Your argument's not gonna work. You're talking to an art kid. I got you.
Me too.
You're literally sitting at computers, everybody. Google. Oh,
I don't need to Google what I've known my whole life.
not you, him.
Yeah, go for
Google
it.
it.
I'm not sitting at a computer. I don't know where mine is. Discord still won't load
You're
on my
fine.
laptop.
He can Google. He's right in front of a computer.
Oh, yep.
I was always...
God, it's really bad, because the first result is pure white is the absence of color.
Yeah, I was always taught that black is
what do
the
you
combination
know?
of all
Black
colors. Whether it's right or wrong,
black-
that's just what I was always told.
No, black is the totality of all colors. Black is when you mix all wavelengths.
And it absorbs all light. White reflects all light. It holds all colors.
I think you're getting into physics.
Nope. Well, yes. Light is physics. Our eyeballs only pick up colors because of light wavelengths. Anyway.
Okay, and so here's what you're talking about. In physics, a color is a visible light with a specific wavelength. Black and white are not colors, because they do not have specific wavelengths. Instead, white light contains all wavelengths of visible light. Black,
There you go.
on the other hand,
Is that
is
not
the
what she said?
absence.
It's physics.
That's exactly
You're
what I
talking
said.
color theory.
Okay, I was
Color
gonna say
theory
that's
and physics
exactly
are
what
the
she
same
said.
thing. Anyway,
Sorry.
so-
I'm not arguing it. I'm just saying what he's saying.
You're good, you're good, you're good.
Ah. This derailed. So anyway, in my...
Didn't do it this time either.
Wouldn't be this podcast if it didn't derail.
It didn't even derail
Oh.
that far.
So, in my
Nope.
metaphysics, basically how I look at it is simply white is the absorption of all color, and black is the absence. You need both of them in order to have any picture of the world. Therefore, like, sadly, as many choices as you can think of in your mind, there have to be another infinite amount of choices in there, and sometimes we may make a bad choice, but, like, it's the only way to experience life. And so, like, all this population control shit comes down to, we're experiencing life.
That is a very
And-
human view of it, yes.
How is it? Alright, how do you... So then you're basically saying that no creature thinks like the way we think. We have our specific sentient, and then they have theirs, yet I'm supposed to care about theirs? How do I even know that they care about theirs?
See,
Tell
so
me how
that
it-
goes back to my argument about human beings being the best parasites possible. Because we only think about ourselves, and we only think from our perspective.
How am I
I'm not
supposed
saying
to think,
other
how am I supposed to think from a
species
dog's
are
perspective?
better than us. I'm saying we're just the best parasites, and we've been the most effective.
Well, but
For
how do
as
you
long
know
as
that
Try to
as
all the
well?
time.
I'm
Everyone
sorry, I
tries to
jumped.
label themselves as different dogs all day. Like, everyone's trying to look at their spirit animals and shit. All we do is try to walk through somebody else's shoes. Why can't we think about how we're stepping on their fucking tails? Meh.
Well, but aren't you? Haven't you thought about it? Aren't you
Okay,
aren't you
but
an
that's
example of that this
psychology,
process
not
is actually
sociology.
working?
Psychology versus sociology. Big picture. Lots of people are dumb and scared and a mess. One individual person is usually smart and composed.
One animal can be smart and composed while the herd is dumb and fucking in crisis mode.
Animals usually behave a little bit differently with that, but that's because they have been.
So
They
that's
have
why
to
we have
do
the
pack
term of
mentality?
stampeding.
No, because humans can do that too. It depends on the animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Friday.
We're no different.
Exactly.
We're no different
Okay.
than the animals.
Stop. I can use this argument. I can totally use this argument to prove my point. So if you go with herd thinking, right? You said stampeding. Most
Yeah,
of the time,
herd mentality.
herd mentality. Okay, I call it gold fishing. You follow one around the whole tank, and then everybody just goes the same way, right?
I've
So,
heard the example
with
before.
most, like, look at buffalo, for example. If you've ever seen them in a winter storm, what they will do, they will put the calves in the center with the moms for the preservation of the species. They put the next best thing that's needed to keep that species going in the center. Then they put the elderly, the grandmas, granddads, and at the very, very edge, it's going to be the most biologically safe in a storm, males. The ones that could die and not affect the population's growth. If you look at it from
Ooh.
humans, we think about ourselves only on an individualistic level. When we get into mass mobs, riots, groupthink in general, I can't prove this, I don't have the statistics, and I know you're going to go there. There's a much higher likelihood of us doing it for our own detriment and becoming our own worst enemies in those environments too. So we are the best
So-
parasites for ourselves too, as well as the world, as well as other populations, everything else. We
So
will fuck it up if we get it.
Hell
So
yeah.
are you saying that we don't experience herd mentality?
No, I'm saying with
'Cause
our
that is why
societal
we
pressures, we end up hurting ourselves, not protecting ourselves and our species. We go individualistic
'cause
when we should
weirdly
go
enough-
collective.
weirdly enough, we have studied this. We do a lot of collective actions, especially
We-
in cases, especially in cases
not
where
my
your
argument,
adrenaline
bro.
starts ramping up.
Dude, bro, I get where you're going. I'm not arguing. You're just making a different argument, bro. Like, I'm saying in groupthink situations versus most every other population or species, we are one of the very few who will be detrimental to ourselves and everyone else. We will be destructive even within a collaborative environment within our own population, whereas other species typically aren't.
I don't think you have anything to back that other than anecdotes.
I
And
literally told you I didn't have numbers and specifics, and I knew you were going to go there.
Yeah, I
No
I
other
really,
species
that I'm
bombs
wrong.
itself.
Our
What
species
species
can bomb our
bomb
planet.
itself? What species
Yeah,
can
a
bomb
whole entire
itself?
one
I'm
nuke
sorry,
can blow it
what?
up.
What?
there-
Who invented what? Oh man. The
So-
closest.
so
Just a voice
you're-
and not a
you're-
sit.
you're now making an argument from scale, and I think that's your problem, is that you don't understand the scale of how
No,
species
because
can-
yes, species will
Ants,
fight, but they
ants.
don't war. They don't war.
ants,
They will fight each other, but they
Ants.
won't war.
ants.
They don't do it that.
Yes, they do.
Maybe tribes, but that's not like big
Yeah.
ass things.
But you're looking at it at scale.
I'm gonna take it over here.
I mean,
Because
what
we
if
have
I-
too many people. We need population control.
Thank you for
All
trying
right.
to bring it back to population control. Did that?
No, we're still very much on the topic. But what I'm saying is that there's over 100 billion ants, and we need to help them with population control
Really
because
push them every day.
they're fucking constantly warring. They're constantly killing themselves.
And there are
They-
natural pressures for them. There's not really one for us.
Because they have too
Eaters.
many
have you
of them.
been out in nature? Jesus fuck! There's so many natural predators for us. The only thing we did is that we just, figured out how to keep them a little bit farther away from us.
We invented guns.
There's
Yes.
other animals that have
Stops
weapons
us
and
from
tools, but
being properly population controlled by inventing
Mm.
fire.
We got these things too.
Point makes perfect sense.
Well,
Like-
and I mean, it's not like we're not also enemies of each other. I mean, we fucking do some of the most horrendous shit possible. At least when a bear.
exactly. That was half of her argument.
No, So I'm sympathetic to your argument. It's not as if I'm all like, no, you're fucking wrong. It's more like I don't agree. I don't agree with your end assessment.
My interpretation?
Agree to
Absolutely.
disagree?
I agree with certain portions of. No, I don't. Never a day in my life have I agreed to disagree. This is the hill. This is the hill I'm gonna die on.
Yes, I'm fucking dead.
Although with the whole getting rid of humanity thing, that's always like one of my favorite type of freaking things when I go into games and movies, is always to see what the world would look like without the humans here, and to see how like the green would just be taking back and taking over the cities, what they look like. That's why I like the movie I Am Legend.
Yes.
Things like that, The Last of Us, Fallout. It's really interesting to see what the aftermath of what humans would do to the Earth, or how the Earth would take itself back if we just all of a sudden just disappeared. I don't know. I always found that quite fascinating.
Wasn't the
Same.
virus in I Am Legend a human-created virus?
It was a vaccine. It was a failed vaccine. So yeah. So basically, the humans would have killed themselves there, and then.
So I got my
Then
third
still
shot
fucked up
today,
the
guys.
I think all of us
Oh
are
yeah, you
vaccinated,
just got your
so
third
it's
vaccine.
fine. It's not the one that's gonna get you.
Let's start talking about the failed vaccines.
Dude, I got my flu shot like 5 days ago, so.
I got mine a month and a half ago.
Never had a flu shot.
Same.
Dude, I'd never had a flu shot. Well, I work for a nursing facility, so they're all like,
That's
"You have to
fair.
have a flu
You
shot."
have
All right.
what is that? Population that's susceptible. I can't say the word.
Susceptible.
Thank you.
Susceptible population.
An at-risk
Okay.
population.
There we go.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
You sure you don't want my mother?
Honestly, we should just take the warning labels off and just let natural selection just decide. I mean,
I am pro.
But it's not. That's how we got here. That's my whole argument.
Wow, you're not feel shamed.
Fucking, like, unless we order society, like, this shit's gonna keep fucking happening. Look at how much we ordered society, and we fucking elected Trump, and then he was all like, pandemic. Fuck. Look at how many of us have died now, alright? We need a better ordered society. I'm not saying it needs to be ordered. I'm not saying it needs to be ordered in the way that it is right now. I'm just saying.
I really want to hear it. How do you think it could be ordered better? What would prevent this stuff?
What do we need? Yeah. What's your idea?
And so I'm not gonna lobby this at like Gen Z or millennials or anyone like that. We're a wholly irresponsible society who's been raised on irresponsibility, and I don't think that I don't think that it was the I don't think it was Gen X. I don't think it was millennials. I don't think it was Zoomers. I don't think it was Boomers. Like, just in general, like, we are so fucking irresponsible with everything we do. We're just all like, oh, hey, here's new tech, let's fucking go for it. And now all of us have to fucking have fraud alerts on our fucking bank accounts.
It's almost like humans haven't had to deal with the repercussions of their decisions.
No, I think they have had to deal with the repercussions of their decisions. I just don't think that... I think that a lot of the ways that we interpret the repercussions have been bad. Like, alright, hot spicy take, population control, fucking, yeah, Megan, Sid, I'm all with you. Let's get rid of fucking half the population. Let's fucking call this motherfucker.
That wasn't my argument. That was Sid's argument.
But it's mainly because, like, I want you people out as well, and I'm willing to go. Like, I just want a society that, like, actually thinks about itself. As
I'm hearing a lot of ideals. How can we be ordered better to behave that way? I'm just trying to get back to your original point.
Well, God damn it, we should spank people more. Not you and Sid. Obviously...
Sid spanks, okay? She doesn't get spanked.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
You're real good at it.
Anthony. Warming up, getting ready, stretching them.
I will be taking video when you spank Michael, just so we know.
I mean, if you want my prescriptions, I don't have all that many because I'm of the opinion that stabbing westward was right. I can't save you. I can't even save myself. However, that said, I mean, I'm at least willing to try and entertain the notion. Stabbing Westward, it's a 90s band, don't worry about it.
Thank you. I was, like, trying to get the reference.
Yeah, it was like
He's
90s.
old, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm fucking decrepit. I'm about ready to admit myself to a nursing home, and,
At least you know what they're like.
I will have the memory issues where I'm always in the business office director's office. Business office director's office. And yeah, I will be keying receipts and anyway.
So how can humans be ordered better to not do what we're doing? I'm gonna keep asking until I get an answer.
Yeah, and I don't think you're
I'm
going
an
to.
asshole.
I don't think you're ever going to like the answer that I give you, but it is simply like we have to keep with the trial and error process. It's never going to be the best. We can get better. We can get worse. If we fall to the side of nihilism, and I am talking about like Russian nihilism, we're gonna fail.
Dostoevsky.
Even pre Dostoevsky. I'm talking about like the whole idea that like you have to burn the entire system to the ground and build with new sticks. I think that we can revamp our systems. I think that it's not going to be easy. It's definitely going to lead to like the shit you see with Trump. But I think it's doable. But a lot of it also falls into the concept of
So I can play devil's advocate if that
we're gonna
helps.
have to be patient. Like, cause I'm a full blown fucking anarchist. And then I'm a socialist, and then I'm a sock dem. And I would love for socialism or anarchism to be a thing, but right now, at the very best, what I can hope for is for people to be sock dems.
All I know
Can
is
I
I
just
want to
ask you
Oreo
a
now.
question?
Same.
Right, same. Why does the label have to be involved in that? Why does someone have to be a Democrat to be a good person and have good morals and everything like that? It's something that societally has classified people. Why do you need the label?
I never
You
said
get what I'm
you
saying?
needed the. I kind of get what you're saying, but I never said you needed that label. Like I
Well,
don't know
so-
what I don't know what you are. If you told me tomorrow that you were conservative Christian, a 7-day Adventist, I would shrug at it. I
So
think you were stupid for believing in God, but at the same time,
Maybe
like,
the reason
your morals align with mine, so that's why I run with your
Why?
morals.
Gonna have to interrupt.
maybe the reason why I brought that up is you had highlighted like Trumpism as a negative of the human populace recently, and then you highlighted the fact that you're soft dem and you're socialist and so on and so forth. So I'm wondering why you felt the need to have those labels. Why can't you just identify, or I guess I shouldn't approach it that harshly. My apologies. Explaining what is the fundamental behind Trumpism that you felt was a downfall for humanity, because that
Fascism.
classism in that distracts from the better
Authoritarianism.
argument about bettering human nature. Does that make sense? It classifies us and helps deter from the real problems. It turns us
Well,
against ourselves because of the
So
label.
we're ultimately going to be subject to some classification if you support. I'm sorry, I fail to see how if you. I understand the populist angle that Donald Trump may have brought to the table. I understand it the same in Bernie Sanders. I don't think they were that much different in the way that they became popular. But the practices are definitely different, and so I would.
So let's talk about the practices. Let's stop being distracted with the labeling. Let's talk about the core principles.
Well, but I think that's why you need the labeling, is to understand that like core principles can be both plus or negative.
Who's defining which label is plus and which label is negative? It gets distracted in each and every person's perspective that way, whereas you talk about broad categorizations. That was good English. Categorizations, of behaviors, then it doesn't ostracize of certain populace. Does that make sense? Like if you're talking only about Democrats being bad or only about Republicans being bad, it's going to instantaneously piss off the other side and they're going to stop listening. So can we talk about the principle?
I think we can, but only first.
We are 2 hours in now.
What actually did the Trumpism do that was bad other than be Trumpism? Do you get where I'm going with that? Like, I'm trying to have a deeper conversation.
Yes. And I think this is really good, but can we wait for this part for the political
For the
episode?
political one?
No.
Because I think you guys have a lot to say.
I can go for miles. I hate politics.
Yes.
Don't worry about that.
So, I think you guys
There's
have
so
a lot
much
to
on
say.
that.
And freaking Sid, stop eating Oreos like that, ma'am.
Dunking them in the milk, too? Jesus. I'll go
She's
ahead up the
enjoying it a little
store
too
after
much.
this.
Anyways,
What? Stevie, what the fuck?
it was hot. What can I say? Eat that cookie.
We gotta put that in like
Right.
the bonus footage.
Hey.
Gotta blur that out.
The dry boners footage? What?
Oh boy.
Oh, Stevie got me blushing. Quit it.
But does it stop her? No, ma'am.
No.
Dun, dun, dun.
Gotta eat my.
I need an Oreo.
Stop it.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is I'm supposed to stop.
No, you didn't hear?
No, they did not.
So she was like, I want to be that Oreo.
I wanted Oreo. You're such a dork. I was wondering. No.
No, I totally
Build up for
hear
the
you.
OnlyFans.
Be her Oreos. You can replay it because Anthony has the clip. But no.
I totally heard it.
Go with what I did. That's why I thought you were laughing. They might be slightly happy.
Really?
Maybe. That's fine. Don't leave me alone in a room with Megan. It's clearly a bad idea.
Best
Woo!
idea.
Never claimed to be a good influence, guys. Ever.
True. Anyways, who would like to say an outro? Anthony, who never talked this whole ass episode.
I'll do an outro. All right, so thank you guys for that wonderful discussion that I was able to put so much info forward myself in. And
What's so much behind you? It's
to all those who are listening and or watching, I hope you guys are enjoying. I hope you guys have enjoyed. See, I'm all fucked up now. But anyway, so yeah,
He's the
links.
high one, not you, bro.
Links in the description. Check them out. If you're listening, follow, all that stuff. Share this because, we have our funny moments and we have our strictly down to business moments, as this was. And it was a very good debate, very good argument. So tell us what you guys think in the comment sections at the same time so that they can argue with you as well.
Tell them they were all wrong. I was right. I was correct. Everything that I said.
Oh, but thank you for
Michael.
watching, everybody.
You were right. You were right.
Hashtag Michael.
Oh,
I just wanted to make
there you go.
mad.
All right. Who do you agree with? Hashtag Michael, hashtag Meg, hashtag Sid. There you go. Yeah. Anyways.
Dude, wait. Are you running a poll? She's driving the fucking
Oh,
bullshit. She's driving the
you guys got some tough competition.
I got Oreo.
Oh, she got Oreos. I don't know.
Girls do it better, you know. Come on, guys, vote.
Oh, no, boy. My boys. My dick game is good. Come on.
All right, everybody. Stay awesome. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.